fish. The great thing about fish is that there's a whole animal the way he is, with his skin on, his eyeballs, his brains, everything. When you feed your dog that whole fish, and if you feed about an ounce for every pound of raw food that you feed, an ounce of fish, then you're going to do a really good job of getting your dog enough vitamin D. So for those of you who say, I can't get all these organ meats, even those of us who can, it's a really good idea to feed your dog fish to make sure he's getting enough vitamin D. He can't make it on his own. He relies on his food animals. Half of them are raised indoors, and the ones that are raised outdoors, we're not really feeding the skin, and when we do, it's too fatty. So fish is a great choice. And what if you can't get all these organs and you can't get fish? Well, that's ridiculous. I think everyone can get fish. But if all you can get is fish, then I think a really good idea is to give your dog a glandular product. You can get freeze-dried organs, and it's called a glandular. Do it. If you can't get this stuff, then at the very least, get your dog a good multi-gland supplement. Here's my ask. Do not get a glandular that comes from Argentina. It's a lot cheaper. The problem with Argentinian beef is that Argentina is the biggest user of glyphosate or Roundup in the world, and it's just devastating there. I just think you're going to have a lot of trouble with the glyphosate content in Argentinian beef or calf or sheep. So if you're feeding your dog a glandular, please make sure it comes from New Zealand and not from Argentina. Okay, let's get grinding here. All right, so watch out, guys. This is loud. Oh, and don't do this at home. For safety, you're supposed to have your thing on, but I don't do that. So pretend it's on and pretend I'm being safe. All right. So basically, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick from one pile. It's nearly not that loud, is it? It's not that bad. I'm going to pick from one pile. Get ready for this. Oh, the brains are just too much. At least I don't have eyeballs to contend with this time. And I'm just going to, pick from one bag and then the other bag and pretty much just keep them all mixed up. Are you going to get in there? Yeah, you're going to get in there. And so on and so forth. Oh, they didn't cut my liver for me. Son of a gun. A little bit of gooey lung. The good thing about the auger is that it actually kind of pulls it through for you. Here's a pro tip. Guys, try to partially freeze your softer organ meats, and they're a lot easier to cut if they're partially frozen. Pancreas. Pancreas is awesome. This is where all of your dog's digestive enzymes can come from. It also controls a lot of the hormones in the body, so dogs tend to run out of enzymes as they age, so adding pancreas to their diet is just a really, really good idea. Woohoo! Whee! This is why I just don't like to... Why I wanted to do it at the end of the day, though. Look at how big cow livers are, right? Isn't that crazy? And that's like not even half of it. Some lung. Eyeballs is not one thing that I've been able to get over. Tripe I can do, but eyeballs I still get really, really grossed out when I pick up eyeballs. It's not my favorite part. Gotta cut this fat off. It's funny, the fat on heart is just so hard. But that's where most of the fat is, or supposed to be in animals, is around the organs, because it's supposed to protect the organs. That's why brain is so fatty. So that's the first batch. Let me just strip this down. So I just kind of rotated all the stuff that I put in there, and it's pretty well mixed up now. It's funny, when we were in Vegas at Super Zoo last year, we went to this Mexican grocery store and we thought, oh my God, it smells so good. Let's have lunch in there. And we're all thinking, oh, we're going to have, you know, a nice like enchilada or something. But all the locals were eating something that looked a lot like this. And I'm sure it's very healthy, but we had burritos. So what I've done is, this is all frozen. So this is just my muscle meat, and you can see it's frozen. Boom. This is my coarse ground muscle meat. And it's just waiting for the nice organs to join it. All I'm going to do is there you go. I'm going to take my organ meats and I'm just going to slather them on top there. Again, I want these organ meats to be about 25% of my dog's diet. So I'm going to fill this up pretty much to the brim. Now you might be thinking, oh, Dana, that looks like more than 25%. And you would be right. But this isn't the only thing I feed my dog. So if you think about an animal, 25% of them roughly would be organs. But a lot of them would be bone as well. So I need to feed my dog his raw meaty bones. And that's about a quarter of his diet. So I add a good amount of organ meat to their meals. Now, if you haven't done this with your dog before, organ meats can cause loose stools and farting. So just go easy on it at first. And just work your way up. Thanks for joining me in my garage and all my organ meats, and we'll talk to you soon, guys. Oh, now I'm going to try something else. Peter's a big fan of the organ meat. He's like, oh, I know what's good for me.